Okay, so today I want to talk about big picture today. So one of the things is I'm often working with clients and working with people over the years, they get caught up in small thinking and end up self-sabotaging their results and their success. And a lot of times like we lose big like sight of the big picture. I see this happen in my life and sometimes like in the business side. Because sometimes we're getting caught up in these day-to-day things and we want things to happen and we're not seeing results. So a lot of times we end up getting discouraged and feel like we're not accomplishing things when the big picture of the work and little things that we're actually doing are the things that are actually getting us to achieve the results. So today I just want to give you some clarity around that. So my outcome of this training is to help you see the big picture and understand the journey so you can change. Like when you're looking to lose weight, get in shape, develop a healthy lifestyle, and that's not part of your life, there's a lot of things that need to happen and change within there. And there's a lot of resistance you're going to have to change because you got behaviors and patterns and things that are stopping you with where you're at and preventing you from getting to where you want to get to. And those are the things that have to change. And when you start changing, there's going to be resistance coming internally that you're going to have to overcome, and just be aware. And a lot of times it's because I'm doing these videos and training, I'm trying to bring that awareness for people. So I got my garage door open right now. It's so beautiful out, and so I can probably hear some lawnmowers and things in the background, the birds and the cardinals. It's wonderful. But anyway, I just show you some before after pictures. This is from my old boot camp that I used to have. This is a girl that I'm very proud of. She did fantastic at the boot camp. She had lost over 40 pounds, but just consistency, just making sure that she was always showing up. This is Sharon, so she did fantastic too, and she's still to this day. I mean, this picture was probably, these are old. This journey begins. This is probably 4 or 5 years ago, and she's still at it. And this is what I like to help people. This is one of my one-on-one clients that I worked with just nutritionally in my advanced nutrition program, and you can see a huge transformation in her body, and I forget the amount of weight that she lost. Brandy, somebody else, like this is, I love Brandy. I love all of them. They're all great, but Brandy was a beast. She'd come in, she'd get the work done, she'd just really focus, and look at her transformation and change. It's phenomenal, and she's still at it to this day. She even put a health website, Facebook group together with one of her friends and just motivating others to be healthy. It's great. Anna here, she did really well. I know I don't know her story anymore. She stayed with me I know she lost over 60, 70 pounds while she was with me, but I don't think this was the end result. I got a bunch of before after pictures of her. Sharon here, like you can see her, she was just really strong, like coming into her workouts and just really focused. You can see the body transformation there. So, but what are all the things missing? Like a lot of times, like we sit and look at all these before after pictures, like we're like, oh yeah, like we're looking at the end result. So what's the big thing that's missing in all these pictures, like as you're looking? So one of it's all the failure. So like all these people, they all have a story behind them getting results. And a lot of times, like especially with weight loss, like when we're going through like losing weight, we get caught up in the day-to-day scale and a little up, a little down, a little up, and then we get discouraged by that. And a lot of times, like these people who we just showed all these before after pictures, they've all been through that. There's been so many struggles, and I don't even know the full story. Who knows? Like we all have those times where we're going through challenges and we feel like we're defeated, we're down. But the thing is, like all the people in the results, they've always gotten back up. But we don't see all the struggle, all the failure, all the mental hard things that they went through. And I guarantee there's lots and lots in every single story for it. I know some of the stories, that's between them and me, but that's the thing, like there are stories of just challenges and things people go through, and just it's all the mental side, like the mental side of working through things when we don't feel like we're getting results. Like the other day, like I'm working on creating some new things right now, business-wise, and I busted my butt. I get up at 5 a.m. and I had a really great day and I got a ton of work done. And then that night, all of a sudden, I don't even know what thought I end up having, but all of a sudden, like, I'm down and in the dumps and kind of feeling like I'm defeated. Everything's falling apart. And I'm just like, I knew it would be gone the next day just because I've been through these so many times. But that's the thing. Like, I still went through it. I didn't shake it that night. I wish I could just snap my fingers and be like, hey, I feel great. And I'm sure there's a way to do that. I haven't figured that out yet. I'm always working to figure little things out like that. But that's the thing. Like, we always go through those, and that's the thing. Like, you can't quit, because I know a lot of times, like in the weight loss, or creating big changes and changes that are important, like as far as being healthy and losing weight and getting fit and getting in shape and learning how to cook and all these new things. There's a lot of things that go on, and you got to work through the challenges and the failures. Let's face it, this is where you really learn, and this is where you're going to succeed, is from learning from the failures. And sometimes the mental things can come, because I didn't really fail at anything the other day. I don't know why I was feeling so discouraged with the amount of work I got done. Maybe because I had a list that was a little unrealistic, and maybe I didn't finish that. Maybe now as I'm thinking about it, but we all go through it. So, but the thing is, like, you just always have to get back up. You show back up. You just keep going, because the consistency over a long period of time, that's the big picture. That's what's going to add up to the ultimate change. And all those little mental hiccups, we'll just call them mental hiccups, that you go through, are part of the process of achieving and getting to the results that you want to get to. But as you're going through these and you're going through the failure, it's like, I mean, there's a lot of different emotions. Like, you can feel broken. I mean, these are some of the ones: hopeless, incompetent, unimportant, worthless, unbearable, like despicable, like, and we can be pretty hard on ourselves. And then these things are not necessary, and you gotta call yourself out on them too, because we can go through them. I know, like, depression and those type of things people do go through. I've never really gone through that, but little short periods of time of going through like a breakup, which, I mean, I wouldn't consider that depression. But the thing is, like these are feelings, and you always have to know, and just know deep down inside, like, there is hope. There is the ability to change and move through, regardless of what you're going through. The consistency of just showing up, like, even though it might not feel like it at the time. And again, like, this is the big picture. Like, when you're not feeling it, you just always have to hold on to that, knowing that it's going to lead somewhere better. And it's temporary. Like I said the other night, when I was in that place and I was kind of feeling down, I knew the next day, I mean, there was no doubt in my mind the next day I'd wake up, because I've had that happen quite a bit. And like, the reason I would have been in that space, there would have been some thought I wasn't aware of. Sometimes I'm aware of it, but there would have been some thought or something that happened, or something where I questioned myself and doubted myself or criticized myself. It would have been something that caused me to be having those down feelings that I was having, feeling like I was failing, feeling like everything's falling apart, feeling like I can't be clothed. Like, it's not a good feeling. But I just know from experience that I'll be better the next day, and I was. And that, to me, that's not. I mean, again, this is me being hard on myself, because to me it's not acceptable. I should be able to make that happen quicker. And I have done that before with exercise and those type of things. But I don't know. I don't remember the story, but I didn't think of it that day. But that's the thing. Like, the scale, like, this is a big one. Like, big picture scale wise, like, I do encourage people to weigh every day, because based on keeping the weight off, people who do lose weight and keep it off, generally it's been shown people they weigh daily. So I am a big advocate of weighing daily. Now, the thing is, like, you can't get caught up on the scale, because it's like, you can be doing everything perfectly and still be up a pound or two the next day. Like, you could still be hitting your caloric ranges. You could be in great macro ranges. You could be doing everything right, eating the right type of foods. For women, like going through a menstrual cycle, that can be weighed up. Maybe you had a little extra salt, because salt's not calories, so you won't even notice, but having a little more salt at night causes you to retain. Or maybe you had a heavier meal, like, at night, or you eat more of your carb. Like, there's lots of different reasons. Maybe you're extra stressed. Maybe you're really stressed at work. You haven't been getting sleep. Like, there's things that can cause you to retain water, but it's not a big deal. This is why the big picture is so important, because generally when I'm working with people one-on-one, I have them charting their weight. And, like, I don't care about the day-to-day, and it doesn't stop them from getting upset or getting discouraged, but it's like, that's what I'm here for, a coach, so I can teach and educate. That's what I'm doing right here. But that's when they're weighing on the scale and they're feeling discouraged. Like, you need to look. I have people look at weekly averages. I don't care about the day-to-day, because it doesn't matter. Generally, we will see a trend when you're doing things the right way on that weekly average going down every week. And it actually happens pretty much to everybody, like when you're doing things the right way. And then you can pinpoint things through what you're doing through this cycle, because it's getting measured. Like what gets measured gets managed. But the scale, it's like, it's just a number. It's just giving you data. So it's like when you get on that scale and you weigh and you get a weight back, that is just telling you something that is going on in your current life right now, of where it's from past actions. That's why you're at on the scale. So it's an indicator, like, to say you're up a couple pounds and you did everything perfect. It was like, there's a reason for that. Everything's cause and effect. You just need to figure out the reasons why, and then you can kind of move past them, because that shouldn't stop you and tell you to quit, because it's like that number moving up and down. As long as you're doing things consistently, you're generally going to see a decrease in the weight and the changes in your body. Same way with exercise. Like, as you get back up. So sorry, I had a plan where I was going to go with this, but like even with exercise, like as you're getting discouraged with exercise, it's like you just got to know consistently. Like right now, I'm actually feeling tired. I'm doing this power zone workouts on the Peloton right now, and I just did a 60-minute workout, and it was hard. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling a little fatigued. But that's the thing, like, this is how you get stronger. Like, I did push my body, I exerted a little. I'm doing a training right now, so ultimately I will have better endurance and I will be faster, and I'm setting myself up for a triathlon PR time that I want to hit. But this is necessary in the training, and I do feel tired. But what happens now is, like, I get rest, my body recovers, I get better. But if I'm sitting in the moment now, I'm like, oh man, I feel so weak. I'm tired. I'm walking. My legs are tired because I just did a hard workout. Like, that's the thing. Like, you tear yourself down, and you can kind of keep moving forward. You can think about that from this picture as well. The scale, like, that's the thing. Like, it's giving you resilience. Like, when you start to understand, like, the numbers and then the data, and understand that, and you can use it against the calories and the type of foods you're eating, like, you got to measure it. Like, you can really start to figure a lot out. This is what I teach with my coaching programs. But the thing is, like, you always got to get back up no matter what. Like, you kind of get knocked down, you get a little injury, you get a little disruption of life, something happens at work, something happens where you can't dedicate time, or you choose not to dedicate time towards the workout, or maybe you just get distracted and just lost focus. But the thing is, like, you always got to get back up, because the alternative, you go back to where you were at, or even worse. So you always got to get back up and keep moving forward. And again, like all those before afters I showed you before, they all had their own struggles, and they have achieved the results they did because they did keep getting back up. And you just got to get in there, and you got to keep exercising, like even on the days where you don't want to. And just knowing, like, there's going to be a result. And when you're moving your body and you're doing things the right way, there's going to be a result. You will get better. You will improve. You just might not see it in a short period of time. And this is why I always taking the big picture and looking at the big picture, and when you're doing that, like, looking what you achieved. So, like, let's just say, for example, maybe this is just a picture I found online, but let's just say she had lost 30 pounds, and it was like, she's out here running the track and getting workouts in, and she's showing up and she's eating consistently. There's going to be a result that comes. Maybe let's just even say this person's been plateaued for a couple weeks, but she's still doing everything right. Mentally, she could be going through, like, oh, this isn't working, I'm failing. You coming up with those mind games which are wrong, and they're going to set you back. But she's still showing up. She's still doing her workouts, and workouts get your mind right. I mean, that's one of the things, like, use the workouts to get you focused. But that's how you achieve results, and it's like you keep moving forward, the results are going to come. Busy moms, I mean, this is the thing. Like I know even us as a busy family, but my wife more so than anything. We just had the new baby a month ago, and 3 kids now. It's we got my mother-in-law here helping, so we're going to see what it's really like here in a few more weeks. But it's like, I mean, it's hard. It's kind of hard being focused and trying to just make sure you get it in, and trying to allocate time to exercise, like when you got all kinds of other things. Like in this picture says a lot too, like trying to food prep and get your food ready while taking care of kid, taking care of techs. Maybe there's other kids. You got to take care of your significant other, like things like that. There's always a lot going on. We're always busy, but the thing is, like, if there's a will, there's a way. Prioritize and just make sure it always happens. And it's like tired. I mean, when you're tired, you're gonna, same thing. Like, you're not gonna want to do it, and it's something's better than nothing. So even if it's just a 5 minute warm workout, just something like running in place for 5 minutes or doing like a quick walk around the block just to move, you're still moving the body forward and getting yourself out of that funk and creating momentum. So nothing worthwhile comes easily. Work, continuous work, and hard work is the only way to accomplish results that last. Hamilton Holt. So, and that's the thing. I can't stress enough. It's the work. It's the consistency, continuously showing up, and just putting in the effort. Like when you're tired and you got a lot going on, and you got to plan your day, because if you don't plan, you're never gonna. You're not going to do it. I mean, it's going to get thrown to the wayside. So you got to kind of plan it in, and you got to show up. I mean, a lot of time that's work in itself. That's not even the physical work you got to go through when you're going through the workout, the planning and then showing up. But that's the thing. Like it's going to create results. You just have to know, like when you're consistently doing things, results are going to come. And then if they're not happening, maybe you got to change your approach a little bit, but you still got to stay consistent. And like in the game of weight loss, it's going to be eating. So it's like there's going to be changes that you got to make with the eating. Small self-sabotage thinking. So thinking things like, I'm different, something's wrong with me, it's hard, I'm not worthy, false beliefs about yourself. You got to be aware of these things, because a lot of times like we have no clue. Permanent negative language, like I'm this way, I can't. I'll think about it. Like you got to just be aware of these type of things. And just understand, like as you're moving forward and you're becoming aware of these things, like you got to understand and accept the work to achieve the success. Because there's going to be work. Like you're never going to get any. Like if you don't do the work, there's never going to be a result that comes from it. So it's like you've got to do the work and keep showing up, even when it's not easy. And you got to keep like. When you miss a few, I'm a perfectionist, like, so I don't like missing things. And a lot of times, like, I can get discouraged, like, if I miss a workout or something, and I can get really down on myself. But it's like, you still got to show up and just kind of get to the next workout. And if you screwed up on a meal or had a bad weekend, a bad week, or have had a couple weeks, you still always get back on it and then just get going again. Like, and that's work, like, as you do it, and you got to create momentum again. So there's going to be a little extra work, mentally and physically, like as you're doing those things. So the fear of loss, the sacrifice, missing out, the end date. Sorry, I forgot where I was going with this. Self-sabotage thinking, okay. So, but that's the thing, like the fear of loss, like these are things that can cause us to retract in our thinking and prevent us from moving forward. You always just got to move forward and do the work and keep trying new things, like when things aren't working. But even as you're trying new things, you're learning there. So it's like they're not failures if they don't work. They're just learning lessons, because a lot of times as you're going through whatever process you're going through, those little things that don't work, they're going to be great learning lessons for you. And that's one of the things, like, I mean, I made some financial mistakes last year that cost. It's like I paid a significant amount of money to a coach, and I didn't make a penny back on it. So I did not make 1 penny back on it, and it was like I could look, and part of me does get like because I mean it was quite a bit of money, and actually it was 2 coaches, and I've spent a lot on both of them, and I didn't get a return on either. But that's the thing, like, and I can still sit there like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe I wasted that. That could have been so much more valuable, and I could be really using that for other things right now, investing in what I want to do. But I spent money in it. There was learning lessons. There were some things that are valued for business-wise, but there's things I learned not to do, and be aware of going into, if I do coaching programs in the future, which if I find the right coach, I'll just be a little more diligent, or like a little more research and just making sure that it's the right fit, because I did learn some lessons there. And I learned there's great value, because it's like I learned so much from those experiences, and I actually gained more confidence in myself versus having a coach, because it's like where I'm at. And that's the same thing, like as you're going through creating a healthy lifestyle, you're going to go through similar things through your process, like you're going to, because that's the key. Like if you want a lifestyle change, you have to be in control. I mean, you can listen to coaches like me. My goal is always to empower people to be in control and be able to maintain it, keep it forever, because I see no other way of keeping it forever if you don't do the things that I teach. because it's like you got to be in control of these type of things. So what the goal is to always make sure that you're learning and you're growing, and you're taking the lessons and learning from the failures and just where you fall down, and you learning from those moments, and just being able to have that space for that second to be like, I feel really bad right now. I feel like I'm losing. I feel like I'm helpless and I can't. But this lesson is very important right now, because this lesson is going to be something that gives me my ultimate result, my ultimate goal that I want to hit. And it's going to help me so I can achieve it long term. But you have to give yourself that space, because a lot of times you're in it and it feels like you're in a downward spiral, and it's not true. You got to stop it and just try to give space there, like when you're having that thought. So none of these are true, because you're making a choice. Like when you're having the thoughts above here and you feel like you're on that downward spiral, like they're not true. That's why it's like you got to stop yourself. You stop yourself and you create space between that spiral going down and just going back into old patterns, behaviors, and those things. And then once you do, like, just you're making a choice to make your life better. So I almost feel like it's our subconscious, our old selves pulling us back to where we're at in our comfort zone. And in a sense, I mean, that's kind of probably what's actually happening. And you got to give yourself space, because you're making a choice to create a healthy lifestyle. You're making a choice to lose weight if that's what you're doing, or whatever your goals are. And those choices are going to be ultimately the things that get you to your ultimate goal, ultimate result. But it's like you're making a choice, so you're not spiraling out of control. The feelings you're having are normal, and they'll pass, they'll be gone, and you just have to know. But again, it's all mind and mindset, like when you're creating change, because all you have to do is take the actions. And I mean, with all the information and data and things out there, it's like it's pretty straightforward a lot of times, like as we're making changes. So our mindset is the thing we got to constantly work on, along with taking the other actions that we got to do. But the mind is like the body, and you're going to follow the actions that your mind makes you do. So it's like, work on that. But you're making the choice to change your life. So it's like when you're going through these struggles and you're going through the self-doubt, just know that they're there for lessons for your ultimate goal. So what is change? As you're going through all these changes, like, you're creating a new identity. So you're creating an identity to be active and healthy and run and get the outdoors. And it all depends on what you want. Maybe running is not your thing. So, but you're creating an active lifestyle, something of the way that you want to be. You're eating healthy, like you're eating nutritious, healthy food. And it doesn't have to be salads all the time. I just put salads because that does usually represent healthy eating, because you get a lot of nutrients from good vegetables. But this is coming part of your identity. Like, you're learning to love yourself. You can look in the mirror and love yourself. I just read an awesome post by somebody on Facebook who put herself out there. She got some photos done, and she showed some real courage and strength, and she showed some real authenticity with who she was and where she was at, and just things she doesn't like about herself and where she's at. But that bit of strength, I don't know this person, but I mean, I feel like she's in a really great, powerful place for herself, and loving herself and learning to look in the mirror instead of looking at the things that she doesn't like. And I'll be honest with this too, like, and I'm in great shape and fit, but I still look in the mirror and I look and see some things that I criticize about myself. So it's like they happen. So this is something I'm working on still too. So all your day-to-day effort of, okay, my computer's having a glitch here, of showing up, putting in the work, of doing your workouts, of being exhausted and tired, and just going through all the work, the parts of being angry and yelling and being frustrated, the parts of just being crazy busy and overwhelmed and having to do all the work and things that you're doing, the days where you're crying and you're just frustrated and you can't just seem to pull it all together, the days where you're showing up for your workouts, they're all going to lead up to wins. They're all going to lead up to your ultimate changes. So all of your day-to-day experiences, good or bad, accumulate. And they're going to accumulate in any way. So they're going to accumulate into who you become. And that's going to be good or bad. So that is going to be It's going to be one thing or another. So you're going to be taking actions one way or another, and it's going to lead you to a result one way or another. So choose which result that's going to be. Choose if you're going to actually put in the work and effort to achieve a result that you desire, or choose that you're going to have a result that you don't desire. You're not going to be the same. Everything changes. So there will be changes. Either your health gets worse, like you maintain where maybe you're not happy where you're at, or like if you're doing the right things, you achieve and get to where you want to get to. But there's going to be a result regardless. So why not make choices that are going to support you to be in a better place later, versus being in a place where you're still stuck and unhappy and feel like not where you want to be, or creating the change that you want to. So that's all I got. I hope you guys find this valuable. Give me some thumbs up if you love this and you went through the whole thing. That's all I got.